All right. All right, so let's be honest. Some days you're tired, right? We do not always feel the same every single day. Sometimes you don't want to show up. Sometimes you don't want to get up, right? But here's the truth: success isn't built upon our feelings, success is built upon the actions that we actually take, right? And time doesn't pause, your dreams don't pause just because your body does, right? So the life that you want isn't going to wait for you to get to it either. It's going to wait for you to take the actual actions that give it to you, right? That means your life is built on the version of you who shows up. Which version of you is going to show up and win? Only when you feel like it? Or only when it's mandatory? Or is it necessary every single day to be the person that you want to see in the future? Don't answer that now. But this right here is for anybody who wants to build something and see how far they can take it and how far they can take themselves in the process. So, a lot of us wait for motivation to just fall out of the sky. But motivation is temporary and it's usually emotional. And emotions are inconsistent, they fluctuate. So if you rely on it, you'll fluctuate and you'll end up stuck. Whereas discipline is different. Discipline is getting up at 6 a.m. regardless of how you feel about it. Discipline is still going to the gym even though it's raining and it's cold outside. Writing the song when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the difference that gets results.
Hi, sorry.
You're good, you're good. I was just looking to see who it was. I was about to say, what's up, bro? I thought you were Sammy.
Hi. It's me. Okay, I'll see you later.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Is Sammy here?
No, he's coming back tonight at 10.
All right.
I'm just going to a cycle class.
Oh, a lot of people wait for motivation to hit like it's a lightning bolt out of the sky or something. It's going to shock you into it, right? But motivation is also temporary and usually is built upon an emotion, which is fleeting, and our emotions go up and down. We're going to feel something different every single day. But work has to get done every single day, and things need to get done every single day, right? So you cannot count on your emotions to guide you. Discipline is different. It's the difference between getting results, right? And discipline is going to show up at 4 o'clock in the morning when you don't feel like it, right? Discipline is going to the gym even though it's rainy and it's cold outside, right? Discipline is saying, you know what, I'm not going to the gym, but I'm going to do my workout at home. It's still getting the work done regardless of the circumstances that you're in, right? When I first moved to the West Coast from Ohio and was getting on my acting journey, I didn't want to get up and ride the bus at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And it was raining. We was in Washington, dog. It was raining frequently, right? But I did it, and eventually I ended up living in LA, acting full time. So you have to do the hard work to get to the end process or end goal, should I say? And I'm not trying to negate your feelings. Your feelings are valid, but guess what? They're not always accurate. And feeling lazy doesn't mean you are lazy or that you have to be lazy. Feeling like quitting doesn't mean you have to quit. It also doesn't mean you should quit. And even at times when you do quit, that doesn't mean you should have quit. Like, winners don't always feel like winners. Winners don't always start off as winners, but they do act like winners. And they keep acting like it until they eventually win. And we all know Kobe Bryant is a winner. He's always been a dog since he's been in the league, but he didn't always have a ring. Even when he didn't have a ring, how many crazy Kobe stories do you know about how disciplined this guy was in between becoming who he is as a legend today and just getting each ring? He didn't get lazy after getting two. You feel me? And after he lost, he didn't get soft. He stayed disciplined because he knew these actions are what lead to the success he wanted. And here's something else: consistency builds your identity. When you show up daily, you start to become the thing, even in small ways. Every day, you're putting in another vote for the person you're going to become by taking the actions to be that person. The whoever you imagine you are in your head, the more you behave like that person every day, the more that just becomes who you are. Hey, it's as simple as that. And you don't become disciplined overnight. Trust me, this is something I know. I can attest to this so hard. You become that person by proving it to yourself over and over. But it's about building on the starting blocks, right? You have to do it the first time to figure out how it works to get to the second or third time. The first time I went live on TikTok, I didn't make it for even 30 minutes because I didn't have even 10 people stay. And I felt bad for myself and I quit. And then I got on someone else's live and I saw that they were on it for hours. And I was like, all right, maybe I quit too soon. Next thing you know, I'm holding TikTok lives and I have people telling me they were in their truck going on a haul and they listened to it for their whole drive. 3, 4, 5 hour conversations. I have people listening from the beginning to the end and coming back. Literally, people have messaged me like, when are you going live again? When the first time I went live, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be going live again, dog. Ain't nobody joined it. Like, but I was building. You have to start somewhere to build. Even just writing a verse every single day. Before I was able to write a song in one sitting, I used to write 10 songs every day or try to, or I would write the same song for a week. There's times I've told people I wrote the same song for over 3, 4 months before it was done. One of the first songs I ever mixed and mastered that helped me, I won't say help me land the deal, but this song was distributed through Universal Music Group, one of the top 3 music subsidiaries in the world, right? I worked on this song for like 6 months. At least, I don't even know. I can't even tell you how many days a week. Because after doing it every day for like a month, I was like, all right, cool. It's not done, but I'm not gonna stress it because I can still make more. But I still came back to the drawing board. Any night I didn't have a project to work on, I was like, well, let me pull this up. Anytime it got past like 11, 12 at night and I wasn't tired, pull this up and I'm gonna work on it, work on it, work on it. I was building. That same level of commitment was what was more important to me now that I look back at it than it was the song. The song doesn't even matter as much as the action because now I'm building that muscle. It's like hitting the gym. It's like working out. It doesn't matter if you hit the gym every single workout when you're first starting. If you are being active, if you're doing your push-ups, your crunches, your pull-ups, like what it looks like doesn't matter. You're building the discipline. You're building that muscle group up. So by the time you get into the gym, now that I'm in the real studio, now that I'm working with other artists, I have the patience to sit there with another artist for 4 hours and work on one thing because I used to do it myself for even longer, right? I'm used to doing this. I built up that muscle, that patience, that commitment, and the discipline to stay up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I used to stay up writing my own songs until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then have to get up at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning and go to work or go to school or both. So it's like, if I could be that committed and have other things to do, now that this is my sole commitment, it's easy to focus when it's time to focus. but I had to build to that. And it all took discipline, even when I didn't feel like it. Like, oh, momentum over perfection. Don't try to be perfect, because over the course of all of this time, years wise, I've had so many tribulations, ups and downs, from breakups, lost. I hate to even talk about it, bro. But I should have been a father. You feel me? Multiple reasons why I'm not, but that, moving across the country, ending friendships that were 10, 12 years long, like losing jobs, having my coworkers steal from me for over a year, and then getting lied on after, bro. Just the last 5 years has taught me so much stuff about life and working with people, and also about what's most important. Because even in all of those situations, I don't even care, because the person I was becoming at the time wasn't even worried about those things, which is why I was able to make it through them and stay focused. I had to be disciplined, and I had to know that the end goal was bigger than any emotion that I was feeling, because I had the goal in mind before I felt that way. So just because my feelings are hurt now doesn't mean the goal has changed at all, which means I can't just completely neglect the process and neglect the work. I might be late. I was I was putting myself together. You know, I was sleeping in the car last night, so I'm actually early as hell, but I do not look the part. You feel me? Like, sometimes the showing up at your best, you can't strive for perfection all the time. Sometimes it's a matter of showing up, and a matter of putting forth the good foot and getting the practice in and putting in the reps and learning what the process looks like, so you can be prepared once you get there. Yeah, I can attest to that. And so the enemy of progress is waiting for perfection, because you don't have to hit 100% every single time to show up, right? You don't have to hit 100% in order to break any preconceived notion, any bad habits. You just need to build a streak and build your own confidence in yourself, that you can be this thing and do this thing and have this thing. And after you show up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, you'll have something to look back on and say, oh, wow, it's working. Like, or you'll be able to look back on it and be like, all right, none of that worked, but this is how it can work. Momentum is going to turn into your confidence. Confidence is going to turn into the results, and then the results are going to turn into the proof. And that proof gives you the belief. And once you have that belief, it will change your life. Once you believe you can do anything you actually set your mind to, you'll act differently and you'll move differently, and you'll ask different questions. You'll ask, why not? What will happen after this succeeds? And when things don't work, instead of saying, oh, that didn't work, you'll say, how can I make this work? What can I change to make this work? Especially after you put a whole lot of time into it and you've been committed to it. Once you stay down for long enough, your mind isn't even going to think about quitting, because a part of who you are does this thing. It doesn't matter whether you're getting the attention or the accolades from the outside world, because you've built yourself into being the thing. So now I'm just gonna be as good at it as possible and make it succeed. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to make that any like simpler. Like, when it comes to sports, let's say this, in high school, middle school, if you wanted to be on the basketball team, you most likely practice your free throws. You probably practice your 3 point. You feel me? You practice your layups. At least one of the three you were practicing before you were even trying out for the football team or the basketball team in high school. You were practicing. So by the time you got there, you already knew what to do a little bit. They don't expect you to be the best, but have some understanding, some fundamentals. And then after that, you are the athlete. You were already a football player when you showed up to rehearsal or when you showed up to tryouts, because you had already been playing football and practicing what football players do. You had already been perfecting the craftsmanship of what basketball players do. And as you see, my arm is hella crooked. I don't play basketball. You feel me? But you have to practice. What is practice? AI just was born a dog, apparently. You feel me? That's an exception to the rule. And he still had to be committed enough to the game and to the team to show up for the important games. But we're not even gonna talk about that. I'm just being kind of funny. You don't have to be the most talented, the most connected, or the most lucky. They all help. Trust me, they all help. Any one of them in any measure is better than none of them. Right? But you do have to be the one who shows up regardless of any of them. Unless you're hella lucky, and even when you don't show up, people don't care and they still continue to, you feel me, believe and endorse and whatever. But you got to show up. And showing up all the time in a positive manner is rare. So, even if you're tired, show up. If you're unsure, show up. If you're scared, show up. If you're doubting yourself, even more reason to show up. Because after you get there, you'll be able to say, did that work? Was it, you feel me? You'll be able to fit yourself into the part you were afraid of and see if you even like playing it before you even start holding yourself to that standard anymore. I'll say this for a fact. There's definitely jobs, tasks, and things that I was interested in doing and being when I first moved out to the West. And after shadowing people, doing that job for a couple of days, whatever the case may be, I was like, maybe it's a good thing that I didn't put all my eggs into this basket because I'm not sure if I even liked this as much as I thought. But I had to show up, even when I didn't know if I was ready or not, because I knew I would get to see behind the scenes. Show up, regardless of how you feel about it. It is enough to keep you going. And once you do find where you want to be, you'll be inspired. And when you see behind the scenes, you'll have more information and you'll probably also be inspired. And even if not, you'll be more experienced and you'll have put forth a good foot when you didn't feel like it. I'm always proud of myself when I do things when I don't feel like it. And you know what made me do this video? One, it's an important topic. It's something that I've been telling myself for the last couple of years, as I've already told you guys before I even was telling it to myself like that. Like I told it to myself then, just because for me, I knew I only had so much time where I knew what was going on. I was in school for a set amount of time. My housing was set up to a certain extent for a set amount of time, and I had a space to record in for as long as I was in school. So I was trying to get as much done and get as much music finished as I could. So around all my school time and all my job hours, I centered music. And I learned a whole lot. By the time I finished school, it set me up for the internship that inevitably landed me in the position I am at today. And once I started getting on my own after graduating, is when I realized, like, all right, you're gonna have to tell yourself to show up even when you don't feel like it. That's when my life went completely like, look, Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Yeah. Oh, my whole life got flipped, turned upside down. But yeah, show up. That's all I got to say. This is Diesel. I'm here for your future self. Do it for you. Do it for the boys so we can turn all of them into better men. Uh, it's a responsibility as a man in this world to lead the next generation of men, in my opinion. So I'm trying to do my part. Now you do yours, starting with yourself. I'm searching for the man in the mirror. You want to change. But nah, keep showing up. I'm going to show up to my vocal lessons one of these days. Diesel out.